Have you ever wondered what is the difference between praise and worship, and how can we do them together? Can you do them together? How does it work? I'm going to be sharing with you on today's rundown. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Rundown with Rick Pino. Ladies and gentlemen, every Monday through Friday, I am bringing you daily encouragement from the Bible to hopefully help inspire you on your journey with God. Listen, today we're going to be talking about the difference between praise and worship. Before we do me a favor. Share the broadcast or subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. I would love to interact with you guys and gals all over the world. And of course, subscribing and sharing this. We're going to see as many people as possible encouraged. Thank you so much for doing that. Let's jump right on in. Okay, so have you ever wondered, okay, what's the difference between praise and worship? I have news for you. You probably know this, but praise is not necessarily the fast songs, and worship is not necessarily the slow songs. I'm going to break this down for you. Let's start with worship, okay? I'm going to be reading out of Genesis chapter 22, just for the sake of time. This is the story of Abraham taking Isaac to go be sacrificed. And literally right there, Genesis 22, verse 5, is the very first place in the Bible where the word worship is mentioned. And this is when Abraham is getting everything ready to go take Isaac up. And then he says, okay, guys, we're going to go up and worship. And that word worship is the Hebrew word shakah. It means to prostrate yourself. That's the word shakah. It's the first place where the word worship is mentioned. To prostrate yourself, to lay down humbly, to crouch down, and watch this, to bow your head below your heart. Worship is not necessarily slow songs. Worship is whenever you take your intellect and you subject it to what you know to be the truth in your heart. How many of you know that our journey with God is not an intellectual journey only? It is a heart journey. And we are not doing the math of our life, with things that we can only see in the natural. In fact, it is a walk of faith. The just shall live by faith. And what do you do when you live by faith? You have to sometimes bow your mind to your heart when your mind's going, oh man, there's no way in the natural, or man, this is never going to work, or you'll never be able to do that. You have to bow your mind, your logical mind. Sometimes you have to bow it below your heart, and you have to say, mind, in the natural, there might not be a way to do it, but God said he's going to do it. So we're going to move forward in this. And friends, when you choose to walk by faith in that way, God calls it worship. In fact, the simplest way that I like to define the word worship is internal engagement. Okay, when you are bowing your natural intellect before what God said, before your spirit man, before your heart, you are engaging with God in an internal way, okay? So for me, the simplest way to say this is worship is internal engagement. Now let's talk about praise, okay? Is there one word for praise in the Bible? I'm glad you asked me. No, there's not. There are 7 words for praise in the Bible, and every single one of these words, they give definition to external expression. You have halal, which means to dance around crazy like a wild man. You have tamar, which means to play the strings. You have yada, which means to bow low. You have barak, which means the shooting of the hands. When the Bible talks about praise, it's literally talking about external expression. So the simplest way that I like to describe praise is external expression. Worship is internal engagement. Praise is external expression. So let's bring it all together, okay? Can you worship and praise at the same time? Of course you can. It doesn't necessarily mean the slow songs or the fast songs. This is about our hearts engaging with God internally, and then the actions, the external actions and expressions, praising him externally. Friends, when we begin to do this and we begin to engage on the inside, express on the outside, we are literally offering up what the Bible calls the sacrifice of praise. It's not the easy praise. It's the 6 a.m. shout. It's the 6 a.m. praise. It's the praise that you give whenever, someone just cut you off in traffic. It's that, God, I want you begin to engage internally. God, I bless that person. And Lord, I just raise my hand to you right now. I'm not going to raise my hand to them. I'm going to raise it to you. And I'm going to say, Lord, I bless you. I love you. When we begin to engage with God in that way, that is praise and worship, my friends. So it's not just slow and fast. It is internal engagement and it's external expression. You can do this on fast songs and slow songs. A lot of times, I'm doing both in between fast songs and slow songs, but that's how praise and worship works. That's what praise and worship is. That has been the rundown on praise and worship. Praise, external expression. Worship, internal engagement. We'll see y'all tomorrow on The Rundown.